This is not my personal story, but one my aunt told me about. It was the early 2000s. I was a small child at the time, and my aunt had set off with my other aunt for a fishing trip on the Washita River in Arkansas. On their way, they stopped at the local store for snacks and drinks. They got their business done in the store, and were on their way once again. They arrived at the boat ramp at around 2:30 p.m. and set up their fishing gear. They fished for hours, catching a few fish, but mostly just passing the time talking. They talked and talked till nightfall had started to set in. Thinking they should probably pack up and head out, they began to gather their fishing gear and pack up. Before they reached the vehicle, a white sedan pulled in the boat ramp parking area, and my oldest aunt could make out two figures in the vehicle. Instead of proceeding, they hid behind some rocks and watched them closely, waiting for them to get out. Almost positive the people in the car hadn't seen them, they stayed behind those rocks, contemplating on what they should do. From the angle they were at, they could tell that the car had the driver's side door blocked. They sat there a while longer, waiting on the car to pull out of the parking lot, but it never did. So with barely any service, my oldest aunt managed to get a hold of my uncle and tell him about the mysterious white car hindering them from getting in and leaving. With no hesitation, being the big badass my uncle is, he was on his way. Several minutes had passed by, but eventually my aunt could see the headlights of my uncle pulling into the ramp parking area. About the time he stepped out, pistol on hip, that's when the white car roared to life and sped out of there. In relief, my two aunts, shaken up from the experience, came out from behind the rocks. They wanted to follow the car, but with no knowledge of which direction it went in, they decided not to, and reported the incident to the authorities. Nothing ever became of the incident, and I've since grown up and moved from my home state. I now live in North Carolina, and I've had a few of my own scary encounters. I don't think about what happened all those years ago a lot, but sometimes I wonder what would have happened had my two aunts tried to get in their vehicle, and what sinister ideas the two in that car had planned. This happened when I was 17 years old. I'm 20 years old now, and I'm from Bosnia, and used to go fishing with my friends whenever I could. When the summer break began, we used to explore many rivers. Usually we would encounter animals or people, but nothing special. Keep in mind that legal driving age in Bosnia is 18, so we would usually take a bus to a location, or just walk to it. One night, me and my friends sat on a bus and went to a city not too far away. I won't be telling the name because it's a small country, and I've always had a phobia of someone from the internet finding me. Anyways, we arrived, and before exiting the bus, an old creepy drunk guy said something along the lines of, "You boys going fishing?" To which I replied, "Yes, in the lake." I then gave him the name of the lake. He added, "Well, good luck then. I hope you catch some fish," with a really creepy laugh followed up. Anyways, we arrived to the lake, which was very beautiful, and started fishing. At around 1:30, after we had had some beers, we could hear arguing in the distance. One of my friends took a flashlight and shined it in the distance, and as he went over a bush, somebody clearly crouched down. As there were many of us, we weren't really scared. Me and the friend with the flashlight went to investigate it, while the others stayed near the campfire. Upon arriving to the bush, we spotted the same old drunk guy crawling in the grass. We asked him what he was doing, to which he replied he was hunting. We didn't see any weapon on him whatsoever, so I proceeded to ask him, "What are you hunting with without a weapon?" He got up and said, "Look, this is a coincidence. I'm gonna get going," while stumbling away. We returned and tried to enjoy the rest of the night. At around 4 a.m., we hear somebody angrily shouting in the distance again. We turn around and spot this buff guy in a black shirt covered in tattoos. Behind him was the old guy. "What do you think you're doing on my property?" he said to us. "Sir, we were fishing and didn't know this property was yours." In the argument, I could see my friends packing the fishing rods and all the things we brought. My friends made a run for it to the forest, leaving me and another friend. "Okay, you're gonna call your friends and tell them to come back, or else you're not leaving," says the buff guy. I, of course, did not want to do that, as I did nothing bad. We were quiet, just talking, doing nothing to disturb no one, and plus, the river was like 300 meters away from his house. My friend tells the man we're going and starts to walk. Now this is when it gets scary. The dude grabs my friend by the neck and again starts arguing with him. I jumped in and hit the guy in the face and started running towards the road. He lets go of my friend and chases after me. After running for about a minute, the dude gets tired. I end up exiting the trees and go onto the street. I wait on a bench for some time and see my friend coming. He sits next to me and tells me that when the dude started chasing me, the old guy jumped on him with a hunting knife. He thankfully missed my friend, and he ended up pushing the guy and running as well. We called the cops after that. A patrol came, and we gave our statement. We called our other friends and ended up meeting with them. The cops explained to us that the part where we had been was private property, but again, the fact that the guy grabbed my friend by the neck was not how he should have reacted. We ended up going home, and nowadays we laugh at this story. My house is in a very remote area, several miles outside of a smaller town in a mountainous state. There are a few other houses around, but we are all 1/4 to 1.5 miles apart. Just up the road, there's a decent-sized private lake with good fishing. Since I'm friends with the people who own the lake, I take my kids there to fish and swim on a regular basis. A couple weeks ago, on a cool, crisp Saturday morning, my oldest son, who's kindergarten age, and I hiked to the lake to do a little fishing after breakfast. It's about a half-mile walk if you take the road, but there's a shortcut if you follow the game trails through the woods. You'll hike past a foundation from an abandoned, burned-down ranch house on the hillside, then cut down an old, overgrown driveway to the main road. Then from there, it's only 100 yards or so to the lake. We fished for maybe an hour, wandered around the lake shore a bit, then started our way back home. As we neared the main road from the lake, I noticed a guy who was dressed very oddly walking up the trail towards us. Typically, the only people that we ever run into are friendly neighbors or the occasional mountain biker. This guy was very unusual. He was wearing what appeared to be a blanket with a hole cut in the middle for his head to go through, a large gold cross embroidered on the front of it, a rope tied around the waist for a belt, and numerous crucifix necklaces and bracelets. The man appeared to be in his 40s, frail build, pale, messy hair, and had a dirty, scraggly beard. As my son and I walked past him, Creepy guy was heading up the trail as we were heading down. I nod and say, "Hi, how are you?" The creepy guy just stares and says nothing. My son, who is normally very outgoing and friendly, had a vice-like grip on my hand and hid alongside me as we walked by this guy. I myself also got a very weird vibe. We reached the main road and started on the 100-yard walk to the shortcut through the woods to get home. I look over my shoulder, and creepy guy is following us. From 100 feet away, I say loud enough for him to clearly hear, "Are you alright? Can I help you?" Again, he says nothing. He just speeds up to a very fast walk towards my son and I. At this point I'm thinking, I can definitely whoop this guy. What in the hell is going on right now? I'm probably 10 inches taller and about 80 pounds heavier than this guy, and I'm in excellent shape. I stand my ground. My son is hiding behind me, his left hand in my left hand, his right hand holding my pant leg. The creepy guy stops about 15 feet away, stares right at me, raises his right hand, extends his index finger and points at me. He's still not saying a word. With a completely blank expression, still pointing, he slowly takes one step towards me, and by now, I've had enough. "Back off," I tell him. He takes another step. I unzip my hooded sweatshirt to reveal the .45 caliber handgun I carry in a shoulder harness holster, mostly for bear protection. The creepy guy sees it, lowers his hand to his side, turns on his heel, and walks away. I stand there long enough to watch him walk out of sight. Then my son and I, hand in hand, walk to the shortcut. I'm looking over my shoulder every 10 paces or so to make sure the weirdo isn't following us again. Fortunately, he's not. We arrive home safe, careful not to leave any tracks, even though creepy guy definitely didn't see where we veered into the woods. I have no idea who that guy was or what his deal was, but I'm glad the situation was resolved without any altercation. I told my neighbors to keep an eye out, and nobody has seen him since.